Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Channel 23 and a program that we call The Faces of Carlsbad. And we're sponsored by Intrepid Potash. And I want to thank all the people who have stopped me on the streets the last couple of months, or years I should say. And they said they like to see these people we're interviewing because they've seen them around, but they didn't know anything about them. And today we have one that everybody should know, but I'm sure you don't. His name is Fred Coty. Fred, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Nice to be here.
The reason why you don't know anything about Fred, we're going to get to that in just a few moments. But right now, Fred, tell us a little bit about your background, where you, something about your family background, going back to Grandma and Grandpa, and
Okay.
bring us up to date.
Well, I was born here in Carlsbad in 1960. My mom and dad are Dora and Alfredo Coty. My grandparents my grandfather came across from Mexico. I do not remember the year, and he settled in the area of Otis, New Mexico, where my mom was born and raised. Went to all my school years here in Carlsbad, graduated from Carlsbad High School in 1979. Went to work for UPS at about 1985.
Now, what does UPS stand for, in case we have a newcomer out here who doesn't know what that means?
UPS is United Parcel Service.
Okay.
And several years ago, they shortened their name legally to just straight UPS.
UPS.
Just UPS.
And they're headquartered where, Fred?
The main headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia is the corporate office. And of course, each state has a central facility in the state. Now, here in New Mexico, it's Albuquerque. And then from Albuquerque, we have centers or hubs scattered throughout the state where service the communities of New Mexico.
Now, the interesting thing is, I know your mom and dad. I've known them for many years, and I did not know that they had such a nice-looking son. They never told me that.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay. Now, you basically got your start here in Otis and Carlsbad, graduated from high school here, and then what happened after that?
After that, spent several years working different jobs around the area, and had an opportunity to go work for UPS, so that's what I did. I've also been involved with photography since my high school days. Spent quite a few years doing photography on the side.
And you take pictures mostly of what?
Basically, I've been taking pictures of some seniors and weddings.
Seniors and weddings.
And over the course of the last few years, people have been asking for videos, and so I'm expanding my small business. Since I retired from UPS, I'm planning to spend more time doing video and photography here locally in Carlsbad.
Have you ever taken pictures of Guy Lutman while he's working?
Yeah. No, I've never had the opportunity.
Well, you can't stop him. He moves so fast, you really have to be a fast cameraman.
He's always on the go.
Yeah,
you know, you see him at different places throughout the day. You know, it's hard to figure out where he's going to next because he's always moving.
I know it. Okay, now getting back to UPS. You started working for them, what, 29 years ago, did you say?
28 years ago.
28 years ago. And you've recently retired.
Correct.
All right, now tell us a little bit about UPS, the company, and what you had to do every morning, and some of the strange stories you had to tell about your 28 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what year UPS was founded, but it was founded by Jim Casey. He founded the business out of in Washington. Is where they originally got to start from. And over the course of the years, it went from a package delivery for retail outlets to handling almost all of their deliveries. It's grown from a simple operation to a very large and complicated operation. UPS now delivers worldwide. They have, I believe, it is the third largest privately owned air fleet in the world.
Is that right?
And
which ones would be larger, do you think? Just
I'm not too sure who is it, but UPS I know is in the top 5 of the largest, and I believe they rank number 3 as the largest.
I see their UPS trucks everywhere on the highway.
They are.
No matter where you drive, there's a UPS truck.
There's a UPS truck. UPS services every address nationwide on a daily basis. We have over 200 and I believe it's 220-something thousand delivery drivers just in the United States alone.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's a lot of vehicles, that's a lot of manpower on a daily basis.
And you also have centers around the world too that
We
your
do.
trucks operate.
UPS now services worldwide. The main, I should say, the main air hub for UPS on their overnight delivery is in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
In Europe, it's in Bonn, Germany, and I believe they now have a new hub in, I want to say,
Bangkok, Thailand?
it's maybe in Thailand that services the Far East
Yeah.
and everything. So UPS has grown considerably since I started.
Wow.
You know, when I first started with UPS, there were just 9 drivers here in Carlsbad
Mm-hmm.
on a regular basis. And now we have the staff here in Carlsbad, about 15 people now.
15?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Of that, they put daily on the road, they put 10 full drivers on the road every day.
And the other 5 are basically resting?
They either work in the office or they're part-time employees who work in the building. They help unload the trucks in the evening, to load the trailers that are going out with packages that the drivers have picked up here locally.
Now, the people who deliver and want something sent, say, to St. Louis or to Chicago or New York, where do they take them for your trucks to pick them up?
Locally, there is an office on Texas Street. It's UPS office. And then there are several private individuals in the community that have an agreement with UPS where they accept packages for us to pick up. And drivers go by on a daily basis and pick those packages up.
So if people would look in the phone book, they could find that information out fairly rapidly, I would imagine.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And if not, on the web.
Oh, it's on the web.
Everything's on the web now.
Well, see, I don't do anything on the web. I don't even like computers. I don't like cell phones. I still use smoke signals.
Smoke signals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure UPS would even cover that, wouldn't they?
Just about. I think they would.
Okay.
You know, as much open space as there is around here, I'm sure they would.
Yeah. Okay. So what time usually did you have to get up to start your work every morning?
My daily routine started about 5:45, 6 o'clock every morning, at which time, you know, get ready for the day and be at the office by 7:15 in the morning. We would start unloading the trailers at 7:30, 7:40.
That's the stuff that was coming in.
That's the inbound freight. And we would spend anywhere typically from an hour and a half to 2 hours to unload all the freight that's coming in. And it stayed pretty consistent, but there were days that was a little bit lighter than others, so we'd get out a little bit early and start our deliveries. But on the average typical day was to get on the road was between 9:30, 9:45 in the morning and start our deliveries.
And then you would finish up usually around 4:30, 5 o'clock?
Oh, no. We would finish when we finished. If that entailed working 12, 13 hours, even up to 14 hours during the holidays, that's what we did.
Did you ever hurt your back from all the lifting and all that?
I was very fortunate in my years at UPS. I never really seriously hurt myself. I had a few dings and cuts and stuff like that, which was bound to happen over the course of 28 years,
Oh,
but
yeah.
nothing major. No back problems. My knees are still in good shape. And I attribute that to the training that UPS provides and includes us on a daily basis, and just common sense. You know, because after being on the road or being out there for 10 hours a day, fatigue does set in.
I can imagine.
It does.
So.
You know, it's just not that we sit around and drive. You know, we have the added pressure of driving, getting the packages out, getting them delivered, getting them to the customers in a timely manner. But yet at the same time, trying to be productive as we can be. Really, that's UPS's. How UPS has been in business all these years is by being productive, and that has been the drivers.
That's fantastic.
So it was a good career, but after 28 years, it was time to move. It was time to move on.
Well, what were some of the exciting things that happened to you as a driver through those years? Can you think of a couple things?
Wow.
Like getting out of the truck one day when a massive dog attacked?
Oh, dogs. No, dogs are everywhere. And unfortunately, I was bitten a couple of times over 28 years, but nothing serious.
Mm-hmm.
The best one I can think of, as far as dogs are concerned, and some of the other drivers knew this area, and it was back on the north side of Carlsbad. I can't remember the exact location, off of Riverside.
Mm-hmm.
And the guys, they knew about this dog. And sure, I went and made my delivery and everything, and I heard this dog barking, and my God, I turned around and looked, and looking through the glass of a garage door was a dog looking me straight in the face. And it surprised me. This was a huge dog. I mean, and I told that to the guys when I got back in. They basically started laughing because they were well aware of what this dog was going to do. You know, there's been times being out there on the road, especially covering the territory in the country that side that I did, come across all sorts of things. Accidents were my biggest concern, coming across accidents, and I've come across a few of those.
Oh, have you?
And
that has to be depressing to see those things happen.
It is, but at the same time, being a driver and knowing that you're out there, there's nobody around for any length of time before anybody can show up to help them, stop and help out and do what you can do.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the worst ones is I had a single vehicle rollover, and there was 6 individuals thrown out of the vehicle. And fortunately, nobody died, and I was one of the first ones there.
My goodness.
So, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure the other guys who deliver in town have probably more stories than I do, but you know, being out there covering an area, because the last 12 years of my career I spent covering an area that was south of Carlsbad, which included the caverns out toward Nickel Creek, Pine Springs,
Yeah.
Malaga, Loving, in the Otis area,
Mm-hmm.
and out toward Red Bluff. And so
So you really had to drive quite a few miles on some of these routes.
I did. Typically, 180 to 200 miles on any day was typical. During Christmas, it could have been as high as 260, 270 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's a lot of territory. It takes a lot of time.
That's driving from Cleveland to Cincinnati in the state of my state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you know, I also spent 10 years driving the semi for UPS, pulling trailers, pulling the double swarm.
Now that's got to be kind of rough on you though.
It is, because it's strictly at night. It was 10 years, up to 60 hours, 62 hours a week, straight nights.
Oh my gosh.
For 10 years. And on average, did over 550 miles per night.
And you would get sleepy? Were you allowed to pull over and rest for a while?
If you became tired, yes, you know, it was, they didn't tell you to, but it was just common practice that if you became fatigued and stuff, like pull over, take, you know, a 15, 20-minute power nap, or you know, to try to wake yourself up, because it is rough.
Let me ask you another question. Did you drink a lot of coffee on this job?
I'm not a big coffee drinker. I drink coffee, but I didn't drink a whole lot of coffee. I would stop at various places, so like when I was going over to Lubbock during that course of the time, I would stop in Hobbs on the way back, or even Lubbock. I would stop there at one of the restaurants or something like that, and stop to get out of the truck, you know, have some coffee, and generally, if I had anything to eat, it was a salad or something light.
Yeah.
Something light.
No, my wife, she always lets me have a cappuccino, but she never lets me drive the car.
No.
Yeah. She drives the car.
She drives the car.
But I just drink the cappuccino. I think she wants me to stay awake so I can converse with you.
Right. You know, and it is rough. You know, not only on the driver, but it's hard on the family.
Yeah.
It's hard on the family. You know, I've been married going on 28 years and everything, and she's been a great wife. She's been behind me the whole time. And without that, I don't think I would have been with UPS all these years. You know, somebody to back me up.
That's very important, isn't it?
It is. It's very important.
Because sometimes marriages don't last because of situations like that.
Right, and to me, for marriage to work in that situation, you have to have somebody that you can trust, somebody that's your soulmate.
Right.
Somebody that you can depend on.
Yeah.
And she was there.
Well, did you ever have any really strange thing happen during those 28 years that you can't forget about?
Yeah. Well, being in the business that we are, there have been situations that have cropped up not only to myself but the other drivers. Can I mention them on this program?
Absolutely.
No, I better not.
Well,
some of these get I can't say graphic, but how should I put it? They're rather embarrassing. Actually.
Oh, well, we
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
mention
no,
either.
exactly.
We won't mention it.
Yeah, those are some of the funniest and some of the strangest that really happened to us. As being in the business that we are.
Yeah.
We're at customers' houses every day.
Now,
And
when you would get off work, regardless of what time, when you got home and you saw your wife and grabbed a bite to eat, how long did you stay up before you went to bed to get some rest?
It depended on how tired I was. Sometimes I wouldn't even have supper. I'd go in, spend 15, 20 minutes talking to the wife, take a shower, and I'd go to bed. Generally, as a rule, a light supper, and usually in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock on a daily basis. Sometimes it was later, sometimes it was earlier.
And, of course, you would miss the 10 o'clock news, but you didn't miss anything because there's never any good news, is there?
Never any good news.
Never any good news.
And so it was a trade-off all those years. I missed a great deal of time with my kids growing up.
Yeah.
But I'm fortunate enough that they have been fantastic kids. My oldest son is in Mesa, Arizona. He has 2 degrees now.
Wow.
So
What's he doing?
He has a degree in body. He does body work. He's a painter, I-Corps certified.
Oh, good.
A painter. He also has, believe it or not, a massage therapy license from the state of Arizona now.
Oh, that's terrific.
And he does have an associate's degree in business that went along with his training in body work and automobiles. So my daughter lives here in town, has 3 beautiful grandkids from her. And she's here. And then my youngest daughter is a junior in high school. She's a cheerleader.
Is that right? A junior
Yes,
in high school?
She's a junior in high school.
My gosh.
So.
Boy, you're holding your age beautifully, let me tell you.
Oh, thank you.
Now, Mom and Dad, I know them. What are they doing now? I know some of the things they do, but fill us in.
Well, since Mom and Dad are retired from both their professions, Mom's a teacher for all those years.
Right.
Dad worked out at the mines. Worked for Beetle Publishing years ago. Now they stay active. They volunteer. They do a lot of volunteering. I know there for a while they were volunteers for the state of New Mexico, helping with the, if I remember the name of the program, had to do with the New Mexico Department of Aging and, I can't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of it either,
Yeah.
but I know.
They volunteered with that. A great deal of that had to do with working with the new Medicare and Medicaid problems with and everything, helping individuals out in the community. They volunteer a lot of time with the church that they're members of. And so they stay active. They also do a lot of traveling. There'll be occasions I'll swing by the house or call them and, oh, they're not home. Where are you at? Oh, we're in Ruidoso. Oh, we're in Hobbs. So they spend some time traveling as well.
Ruidoso and Hobbs. Isn't that amazing? I won't bring this up, but, well, let's just skip it because both cities have something that a lot of people like to do.
Well, no, they're not into that.
They're not into that, huh?
They just go, a lot of times when they go to Hobbs, it's to go look for, to buy things for the house, especially if he's working on the house. In Ruidoso, they just go up there to relax and get away, spend the day up there, go to a lot of the festivals that they have up there.
Yeah, and they have a lot of good ones up there.
They do, and that's what they like to do, and everything. And
well, I wonder, have they been up to Ruidoso and watched Guy Lutman dance on stage up there?
no, that hasn't happened yet.
They've missed out on that. Oh, you're gonna have to tell them about that,
Yeah,
Fred.
tell them about that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I call your dad. I don't call him Alfredo. I call him Fred. I've done that all these years.
Right.
And I see them every so often. I saw them a while back at Lansing, working with the older people there, and the people who need help. And it takes a lot of courage to do that day in and day out. But
It does.
They take the time. So in the minute we have left, you're going to basically work with cameras and take pictures, right?
I'm going to spend some time doing that. I've always enjoyed photography, and like I say, a lot of people have asked me to do videos for weddings and everything, so I'm planning to venture into that more.
Good.
So I'm looking forward to my years as being retired.
Enjoy it.
I plan on enjoying it.
And may I give you one bit of advice?
Sure.
Stay out of your wife's vision because she'll make you work.
She'll make me work.
Anyway, Fred, thanks for being our guest
Thank you,
today
Bob.
on
I
Channel
appreciate
23.
it. Thank you very much.
On behalf of Channel 23, goodbye and good luck.
Thank you.